welcome to another money morning routine. It has been a while, probably a couple weeks since I have come on and done a money morning routine video. I'm back for California. This is the last vacation of the year, so I have a lot to show you, a lot of things going on. You're looking at my November calendar. Here we are with my November budget, but the first thing that we're going to be going over today is my spending. Now, because I felt like my finances were such a mess last night, when we got back late on Saturday night, I spent some time yesterday going through my finances because I always feel when I don't know or I'm questioning, that's where my anxiety and fear start to creep up. And so sometimes it's just helpful just to look and see what's going on. So I was able to do all of my cash spending, and then besides my food spending, and then I went through all of my checking account spending. So let's go through that. If we go over my checking account spending, a couple of different things. So apparently ESPN had a falling out with Hulu. I didn't know this. And I do part of like the Disney bundle type thing. We went to go watch ESPN and they're like, oh, this no longer comes with your package. And we're like, what? It was like an extra now $9 a month to get ESPN, which is fine because it's cheaper than going out and getting ESPN by itself. It just sucks. So I have 2 Hulu purchases this month. My $100 investment to my TOD, which is my individual brokerage account, came out. Peloton, got gas. Our $700 joint investment account for our brokerage came out. So Avista was only $651. And so I budget $800 a month. If I am under that, then I put the rest into what I call a utility savings account. And that's what I pull from if I'm over the $800 that I budget for, because now I'm budgeting and paying for the fluctuations on my own. So that's how I handle it. So $148.30 went into that utility savings account. Now, as far as my cash spending, I went through all of my other envelopes besides my food. So let's talk about this. So pets, there were 2 things I did for my birthday that weren't really budgeted for or planned for, was hair and my nails. Now, I'm about to redo my nails, but my nails here and then my hair, you probably saw my Instagram. So my nails were $65, my hair was $180. Now, usually my hair is a lot more expensive because I do a full highlight I think they call it a biolage. I didn't do that this time. This time I just went back to my natural color, touched up my roots, and did a all over color slightly like that. So it was a lot cheaper. And I usually don't have them style it. I just walk out with wet hair because I don't put heat on my hair. So that was $180. So here's how I paid for them. $50. I used all my pet envelope for hair. I used the remainder of my household cash envelope for my hair. I used all of my fun envelope for my nails, all of my beauty envelope for my nails, and I still have my miscellaneous, the $30 remaining in my miscellaneous. So that's how I paid for that. Those are written down right here. We also ended up getting hay before we left. You can see I used our hay sinking fund as a deposit into my life, and then I bought hay for $170. So that's all done. Now let's go over, my food envelope here. You can see it is a mess. So let's see all these receipts. So we have one for Arby's. We have one for Noodle Express. Another one for Noodle Express. We've been eating a lot of Noodle Express lately. Too much Noodle Express. Panda Express. Okay. So yesterday we did do some grocery shopping, I will say, but we used our joint account because a big majority of it was baby expenses, things for baby Dante. So let's go ahead and write all of this down. All right, let's count how much cash I have left. So $404, which was $27 is what I spent at Panda Express. So that leaves me with $404 to spend for food, which isn't bad for how far we are in the month. However, we were on vacation for a good week. but I do want to pull out my fives, 5, 10, 15, 20. So I have $20 in fives that I want to use for my $5 challenge. So $5 challenge minus 20, leaving me $384. Okay, so we can put this back into my food envelope. So food envelope is done. Okay, so scan all these receipts and effect reward. Put these $20 in my $5 challenge jar. And then now I need to write down all of what I wrote here on my envelope onto my expense tracker. Okay, so food spending has been written down. All cash envelopes have been updated. Now, what I need to do, and I'll do this off camera, is getting updated with my highlighting of my spending. One of the things that we can do now, though, if I go to my budget, is we can write down all of the bills that have come out. So Peloton came out for $54.04. Our joint account came out. Avista came out for $651.70. Okay, so home security came out for $67.15. Netflix 27.21. Okay, so looks like life insurance and YouTube. It looks like Chewy might get pulled out this month as well. So that has all been updated. So I'm just waiting on life insurance, YouTube, possibly Chewy. Possibly. I see a pending transaction in there, so it will probably come out. I put a line through it because I had to do a little extra one in the back in October. I didn't realize that it would still pull out in November. Chewy is weird. That's why I wish it was like on the same day every month. Instead, it's every 4 weeks. So sometimes it pulls out twice in 1 month, depending on how many weeks there are. It's just weird. So I'll have to wait and see for that. So I need to get updated with my highlighting. Let's go over here to my meal plan calendar. I was doing okay tracking my food and my meal plan. So we're starting now today on the 24th. We're just doing rice, steak, and veggies. But I did work on, let me show you. Here is my California trip spending. And let me tell you, I am over budget by a lot. So I had a $3,700 budget. I ended up spending $49.77, which is over budget by $1,277. Yes. Okay, so let me explain. Where we really went over budget was food and our activities. So I got to thinking when I got home, I knew 100% because the second night I checked my credit card spending and we were already over our activities budget. I knew that I was going to be over. And so I decided to tell myself, look, I'll give myself an extra $1,500 for my vacation savings. Now that vacation savings wasn't meant for our California vacation. My vacation savings, which I have a little over $4,000 in there, was meant to be used for our 2026 vacations, which we have a couple big ones planned up. I want to go to Australia and we want to do Croatia. So possibly Maine. And we want to hit 2 national parks next year. We want to do a lot of traveling next year. So, because traveling is something in my life that I value and prioritize, so I save for it. So that means that either I'm going to have to do an extra launch with my soaps to replenish that $1,500. It's doable, but this was for my 40th birthday. And so when we were going through it, I'm like, you know what? We're only down here this one time for my 40th. Like, let's go big. So that's how I paid for the overages. Now, I went over all of the activities that we did in 5 days, and it is mind-blowing. We did the Grove. We did the LA Zoo. We did Knott's Berry for a day. We hit the Lakers game that night, did Universal Studios the next day, went to a movie that day. We did the aquarium VR experience. We did Six Flags for a day and hit a LA Kings game, which is hockey. We did that in 5 days. That means we were doing 2 big things every day. Like Universal, Knott's Berry, and Six Flags are like full days in themselves. That's like 3 whole days. So when I planned this vacation, you can see, I'm like, okay, what exactly did I have planned? Well, for my birthday, we wanted to do Six Flags in Knott's Berry. That's what I planned. That's what I had budgeted. See, $500 for activities, which I was about that for our activities. However, though, we were not planning for the amount of rain. We went down to California, LA, literally during the only rain week that they will get. The moment we left, it was 75 and sunny. It poured, like there were flash flood warnings. It poured while we were there on 2 of the days. So we had to figure out, okay, what are some things that well, obviously Six Flags was closed, by the way. That was another thing that messed up our plans. We didn't know that on their off season, they're closed Tuesday through Thursday for maintenance. So that really messed with our plans. So we had to find things to do while we were there. Like we didn't want to sit in the hotel room for my 40th birthday celebration. So that's where like the aquarium, the movie, the VR experience, going to a Lakers game, Kings game, things that were inside. We ended up going to the zoo. It was still pouring, but it was fine. So that's where another place that we went over was food by $260. It was just, we ate a lot more than what we had thought. Another place we went over was spending by more than double my budget. It's because we stopped by, and this was another thing that we weren't planning because of the rain. We drove over to Ventura and hit the Patagonia flagship store, the first original Patagonia store, which has been on my bucket list forever. So we said, we're only an hour away. Why not? It was actually a 2-hour drive because of the LA traffic, and like California traffic is horrible. But I ended up spending more than what I thought because I wasn't planning on stopping there. However, this was my California budget and spending, and this is where it went. How did I pay for it? So let's go over here. If you look at this is my credit card expense tracker. $3,268. I went on to my credit card because I only use my Capital One Venture credit card while we are traveling. I don't use my debit card. I don't use cash for security reasons. It's just easier. It's easier to look at what my spending in real time. I can just log into my credit card. It's just easier. So, and I get rewards. So far, I have spent $3,461.79 on my credit cards. 2 of the expenses on my credit card were for holiday spending and 1 was for vacation, both of which I have sinking funds that I need to transfer into my checking account and then make a credit card purchase. I'm going to be showing you probably in the next couple days how I do that. For my credit card spending, it's all about remembering to track your spending, not the movement of money. So when you close out your budget, a lot of people say, well, Miko, I get confused on how to close out my budget because I'll make a payment to my credit card, but it doesn't clear until the new month or my new tracking period. Well, that's okay. The payment is a movement of money. That's not really what we're tracking or paying attention to. We're paying attention to the actual spending of our dollars, which I already have right here. But I'll show you how I track the payment and what that looks like. Okay, so what are things that need to happen? It is almost in December. I'll tell you what, Thanksgiving is going to hit really fast. And then December's coming and Christmas and all the things. So what I need to work on today is my December budget, which I'm going to do today. Another thing that I could probably write down, because I ended up spending $3,268 on vacation, and I only budgeted to use $1,600. So 3,268 is what I actually spent. And so far out of my Christmas sinking fund, I've only spent a little over $100, but I might be doing some more Christmas shopping at the end of this week. So this is, in 3,268 here for my California trip. I had to write it there as well. So that's what I have going on for my morning routine.